regarding what's happening, if you start looking at climate change and at all these regulations and all these new things, like whether it be EVs or whether it be plastics that are that can be decomposed and things like that, if you see it from a marketing perspective, that there's somebody out there with an idea that's not selling. So what do? They demarket the useful product that is already selling. They make it disgusting or useless or going to kill your grandma, as you just mentioned. And then they say, and here's the solution. So if you see climate change and all of these product interventions and government legislation as a marketing intervention, then things start to make more sense. And I think it would be interesting if people were making complaints to the Competition Bureau and following the money trail. Who is invested in these new products? Who's behind it? Because we have an item on our website by Albrecht Glatzel about the war on meat called To Eat Meat or Not to Eat Meat. That's the planetary question. And he followed the money on things and found that the World Wild Fund and Greenpeace are often in this certification business. And if you look behind the scenes, there's also a commercial element for them.
Oh, that is very interesting. But, it changes the way you even think about the carbon tax, yes. as it's just a demarketing strategy to get people away from cars that work and put them into cars that don't for half the year. You get people out of electricity that works and have them use electricity that doesn't, because the product is flawed. So you have to demarket the other thing.
That's right. And also when you look in the background, like for instance, with Nature Conservancy, I think they're called Nature United now. They joined forces with someone. Anyway, they have this thing called the Dark Woods Project in BC. It's an old growth forest that they've been protecting for some time, but now they're selling carbon credits on it. And Shell Oil is buying carbon credits there to make themselves look virtuous. But if you look at the CRA records, this organization, Nature Conservancy, got $52 million or more dollars in revenues from the governments of Canada. So I suspect that they're buying carbon credits from these guys on this old growth forest that was already protected. There was no additionality, not to mention that old growth forests do not absorb carbon dioxide. They absorb carbon dioxide when they're young forests, when they're about 20 years old, they're really growing. So it's all a big scam and it's all a big demarketing ploy. And lots of people are making money off you for no reason whatsoever. In fact, I like to tell people, that it's the lack, carbon markets are the lack of delivery of an invisible substance to no one. And here, I'll sell you some carbon dioxide. You want to buy it? Because here it is. It's here for you. I'm selling it. Okay.
You have a couple of really great videos where you actually discuss just that, this sort of a public hysteria for this thing that once you look back in retrospect, you're like, that was the stupidest thing we've ever done. And it's called, in the past, the hysteria was tulipomania. Maybe you can explain that a little bit.
Yes, well, in Holland in the 1600s, tulips began to be imported from Turkey, and people lived a very simple life at that time. You might have a chair in the house. Yeah, that would be good if you had a chair. So these tulips were almost magical. They were so beautiful, and they found that people wanted to buy these beautiful tulips and make a garden. And of course, we do that today. We know how much pleasure that brings. But they started trading in the offsets of the tulip bulb. So they were betting money on bulbs that actually had not yet been propagated by the end of this scam. So the tulip bulb had not even been planted. It had not created any new offsets. And people were buying and selling this for the price of a ship, the price of a house. And of course, at some point, it all fell down. And I think in the end, the outraged Dutch citizens did in their prime minister and ate him. So it was pretty brutal at the end. I'm pretty sure that's connected to tulipomania. It's a very well-known thing in investment circles.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gunn Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.